Okay, we can start whenever.
All right. Welcome to episode 6.
Wait, who's starting this one?
Well, apparently I was.
I think you started it last time. I do even numbers.
Oh,
Okay. Can I read it?
It just says, welcome to episode.
That's fine, because I'm going to mess it up if I don't. Okay. Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm Wren.
And I'm River.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about herbs.
Yes. But first, are you having a cocktail?
I am, and actually, this is the very first episode that we are recording together.
Yay!
It's very exciting.
She came over to my house.
Yeah.
And she cooked me dinner, you guys.
Yes, I cooked. I am much of a chef. Mwah, chef's kiss. I made delicious eggs.
Huevos rancheros, fancy eggs.
Yes, fancy eggs and some quesadillas.
And what are you drinking that goes so well with these eggs?
I am drinking a margarita.
Of course you are.
Yes.
Nice. I'm not drinking something as fancy as a margarita. Well, it's different. I am drinking what's called a sriracha. I don't know if I've had one of these on any of these episodes or not. Mm-mm. It is basically a dirty martini with sriracha sauce in it. My mouth is watering, and I'm actually drinking one, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, it's pretty good. So we're both going to talk about herbs. I've picked 2 herbs to talk about, but there's a little bit of history that I think Wren has. Mm-hmm. But basically, herbs have been pretty much associated with magical properties and healing for as long as humans have ever existed.
Yeah.
Before modern medicine, nature was the medicine. All plants have their own energies. If you go outside and you sit quietly, you can feel it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And herbalism is the study of botany for medicinal and magical purposes. And I think you had a definition.
Mm-hmm. I have like a more general, what is an herb overall. So an herb is the most basic try to paraphrase, and it says the most basic definition of an herb is instead of an herb is the most basic definition of an herb.
An herb is an herb.
An herb is an herb. The most basic definition of an herb is a plant whose fragrance or taste lends itself to cooking, healing, or perfumes and colognes. An herb generally refers to the part of the plant that grows above ground, mainly the leaves and flowers, but it can have an alternate definition depending on how the plant is both viewed and used.
See, that's interesting to me because when I was doing research for this, I found that the moon actually affects the different parts of the herbs and when you should harvest them. Mm-hmm. So like during the full moon, you harvest the plants that are above the ground, the parts of the herb that are above the ground. And during a new moon, when the gravitational pull isn't pulling the energies up, you harvest what's below the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember you told me that the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool," because I hadn't seen anything about that.
Which it makes sense. I mean, the moon affects the tides, and when the moon is strongest, the tides are high, and the moon is the new moon. Supposedly, it is more the Earth pulls the energies back in.
Yeah. Which I'm all for the moon and stuff. I love the moon energies and everything, so.
You do. You love moon magic.
Yeah. I also have that herbs have many pleasing properties, like their taste, their aroma, their appearance, their texture, and their effects that they have on us. For most commercial purposes, an herb refers to plants used in culinary, like cooking and everything. Mm-hmm. And in the book that I'm using, which I can actually say is called The Modern Witchcraft Guide to Magical Herbs by Judy Ann Nock. Mm-hmm. I'll also link this in the episode. Mm-hmm. But in this book, the herb will refer to either a plant or a specific part of the plant. So whenever I talk about a specific herb, I'll be able to say, oh, this is the flower bud, or this is part of the root. Or
I don't have that kind of information. Well, some of it I do in one of mine. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, my book that I use is my favorite book. It's Anju Kiernan, and she has written The Ultimate Guide to Witchcraft. And she talks about how plants, even though they're not necessarily sentient in the way that humans think of sentience, they do react to the world around them. Mm-hmm. And some of those reactions we see instantly, like the Venus flytrap, as it closes on an insect. The mimosa plant, when you touch it, it curls up its leaves to get away from the touch. Mm-hmm. She also said that if you play music to certain plants and record their reactions, that if you speed up that recording, you can see the plants dance.
Oh.
Isn't that fascinating?
That's so cool. That reminds me of a video I just saw. It was literally a video of the earth breathing. Don't know if it was like true or not. It was just like, I didn't look into it or anything, but I think I've seen it before, like multiple times, but it was really cool because it was like the earth moving and bending. And it looked like it was breathing. So there must be like some scientific, like there was an earthquake, there was like a landslide, whatever, but it looked like it was breathing, which was really cool.
That is really cool. Mm-hmm. She says that, touching, talking to plants have all been said to cause reactions in plants that affect its growth. So I'm guessing if we as witches want to grow herbs, then maybe it would be helpful to talk to them, to touch them, to play music for them.
Yeah.
To add our energies and intent to them as they're growing.
Yeah.
Like you said, herbs and witchcraft can vary depending on their use. There's cooking, like you said, making medicines, using them for scent purposes like perfumes. And a lot of witches do grow their own herbs. I've got several outside in my garden.
Yeah.
We've got mint and that I like to use in my teas. Mm-hmm. We have basil and parsley and all of that to cook with.
Yeah.
And a lot of the herbs can be used in potions or other spell work, from sachets or sachets if you're French, to candles and more. So I figure we'll probably do episodes on a lot of individual herbs. Like today I've only picked 2 and I have a lot to talk about them.
Yeah.
But also episodes on how to make the sachets and bath recipes and how to harvest them, how to dry them, how to make a smudge stick, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we've got lots and lots to talk about on herbs that will probably scatter throughout our episodes so that we aren't talking about herbs all the time, because not everybody is.
But I'm one of those people that's like really excited, so I would want to jump right into it next week. I don't know. I love like the idea of doing like a 2-parter, like 1 part, 2 part, but this is like a multi-parter.
I think there's going to be several.
Yeah.
I have something weird to tell you that I discovered.
Okay.
So did you know that there is an ointment out there that's called the Witch's Flying Ointment? And Andrew Kiernan, who wrote that book that I always get my information out of, she says that ancient witches would use this ointment to fly. They would make it from poisonous plants like nightshade and hemlock and mix it with the fat from a newborn baby.
Oh, no.
And they smeared it on their broom handles and away they flew.
That's so gross. I could just... Okay, first of all, I'm a germaphobe. Like I hate to touch things that I have to be in the mindset to like be able to touch something dirty. And I know that sounds so weird with coming from me who loves to garden and everything, but
I can't sacrifice this baby without my rubber gloves on.
True. I'm just imagining the texture and like the greasy after feeling of the fat and like on a broomstick, and you're sitting on the broomstick, however you sit on it, your butt cheeks or whatever are on the broomstick and getting oily too. That's not a pretty picture for me. I really don't like it.
She says, today, though, human sacrifices are not necessary to make this ointment work.
Oh, that's good.
And she does have a recipe in her book.
Okay.
So when you post the link to this book for everybody, when you edit this,
yeah,
y'all can go and check out her book. And I highly recommend it. It is my favorite book on witchcraft that I've come across. And we've got tons and tons of books.
Okay, yeah.
So... What else do you have before we actually start talking about the individual herbs that we've picked?
I have a little bit of brief history, but I also, and it's not a lot, but I also have something that really interests me is like, it's called the greater and lesser planetary correspondence to the herbs. So it's like what herbs correspond to the moon and Jupiter and Mars. And
oh, interesting.
So I'm going to talk about that after I do a little bit of history.
Okay.
So herbs were used by ancient people to address ailments and pain. Through trial and error, herbal remedies were created and passed down anecdotally. I can't say that word.
Through trial and error.
Yeah.
Oops, Grandpa died. Okay,
Yeah.
we won't do that again.
Yep. Yeah, they were passed down through generations. So monasteries were built around herb gardens to specifically cultivate herbs for their healing powers.
Wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. These gardens became the first pharmacies and hospitals where sick would seek help from these healing
neat.
powers of herbs.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while wise women would cultivate other herb gardens and forage and hedgerows and woodlands seeking remedies of their own.
You know, that reminds me where you say wise women. You know, the word witch is so subjective. Mm-hmm. You know, there's people out there that think witches are like they sacrifice babies and use their baby fat to make flying ointment. But really, they're wise women or wise men, because I believe witches can be men as well. Mm-hmm. And back in the past, they were revered. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, now we're all condemned.
Yeah, now we're just horrible, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
people.
crazy.
Oh, yeah, and we have I brought my dog over to
visit.
River's house, but River's dogs aren't very happy about that. So if you hear any dogs are whining because my dog is very unpleased in the new environment, she's sitting on my lap. She's a dachshund, and she's just whining and whining. And so if you hear that,
have some dog noises. Yeah, we've got several dogs in here, and actually, you guys, it's chilly here today. Mm-hmm. We're in the middle of spring, and it's cold. So we have a fire in the fireplace, which is so much fun.
And it's so odd because it's May. Mm-hmm. It's May of all months, and we have a fire in the fireplace. But it also gives us that nice, warm, witchy vibe.
Yes.
So it's very pleasant, and it's fitting since we are in person, so it's really nice.
It's so exciting with COVID and all of that. We never get to see each other. And I'm back from traveling. I think last week I was up visiting a friend who needed me. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to be back here and see another friend who is a good friend that I want to spend time with too.
Yes. We don't get to do this often.
Yeah, this is nice.
I'm excited to see what comes off with the podcast, like vibes wise, with us being together. I'm excited to see if maybe we're a little bit more enjoyable to listen to when we're together.
I hope so. And y'all need to let us know if this is a better episode than the other ones.
Yeah.
So you were talking about history and I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, I finished the history.
Okay.
Which, like I said, it was very brief. And now I'm going to move into the lesser, like the greater and lesser planetary correspondence to Earth. Which
that's right. That's so weird to me.
I know, but I'm really interested and excited about this. So the sun corresponds to, and of course I'm going to butcher some of these names because I'm illiterate apparently. So the sun corresponds to mistletoe, angelica, bay laurel, chamomile, lovage, rue, rosemary, saffron, St. John's wort, walnut, borage, and marigold.
Interesting.
Which I feel like, I don't know the science or how they correlated in this book with
curious
the sun and everything.
What does that mean?
Maybe something about them thriving in the sun more, or they are, I don't know. I would have to
me too,
do a little bit more research.
Like, how does Jupiter, I don't understand that correlation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going with the book, and it's very exciting.
We'll have to do some episodes once we figure that out.
Yeah.
Or have our listeners tell us what it means.
Tell us, please.
Yeah, please.
Mars goes with, and I know you're going to love this, garlic.
So this drink I'm drinking right now, this sriracha, it's made with not just olive juice, but garlic olive juice. Mm-mm. It's so good.
Garlic, I'm allergic to garlic. It burns my mouth.
I'm sorry. I love it.
I know you love it. It goes to, Mars goes to onion, hops. I'm also allergic to hops, so Mars is not for me.
Yeah, Mars is not for you.
Butcher's broom, which I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I should have looked because I don't know what that is.
Well, we'll pick it one week and talk about it.
Yes. Nettles. Mm-hmm. Horseradish, and I am also allergic to horseradish.
Wow, Mars is pretty spicy.
It is. Wormwood, broom, tobacco, barberry, hawthorn, and hyssop. 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 hyssop, however you would.
Don't know.
Where you emphasize it, I'm not sure. So Jupiter goes with dandelion, sage. I can't. Betony, Betony, Betony.
Okay. Betony, Betony.
Oh man. Rose
we got that one.
Dive, yeah. Rose. Woo! Oak, chestnut, dock, sugar beet, which I've never heard of that one. And then fig. And I love a good fig.
Yeah, me too.
Saturn goes with oats, barley, rye, thistle, comfrey, elm, henbane, mullein, horsetail, hemlock, and moss. And then the moon, which
I was going to say, is there
the moon is my favorite, like, energy-wise, but let's see what the herbs are. Chickweed, iris, cabbage, Carly sage, willow, water lily, watercress, lettuce, poppy, and cucumber.
A lot of those are water full plants.
Yeah, those are very...
Which the moon, I guess, does affect water.
It does affect the water a lot, so... I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like these, in a way, make sense to whatever they're under. I just don't know why.
Yeah.
Venus goes with mint, violet, feverfew, mugwort, catnip, pennyroyal, thyme, tansy, burdock, marshmallow. I didn't know that was like
I didn't know there was a herb called marshmallow.
I love s'mores, so if it tastes anything like a marshmallow, I'm down. Vervain, plantain, lady's mantle, that's another one, and also rose. Mercury goes with dill, clover, parsley, fennel, lavender, horehound, if I'm saying that right, summer savory, valerian, if I said that right, marjoram, rue, caraway, oregano, clover, and hazelnut.
Interesting.
And those are all of the planetary lesser and greater correspondence to herbs that I have.
We'll have to do an episode on what all that means, because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to go in depth. I love herbs. I could talk about herbs all the time, just as crystals.
Me too. Oh, and crystals, for sure.
I love crystals.
Yeah, that episode is going to be another one that we could go over for many, many episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, do you want to hear about one of the herbs that I picked?
Yes.
So I picked the blue lotus.
Okay.
Because it is a sedative for lucid dreaming, astral travel, spirit communication, and divination.
Okay.
Which I found fascinating.
That is fascinating.
And so I was like, what the heck is it? And it is apparently a water lily that grows mostly in Egypt and parts of Asia. I found online under www.healthline.com. And they talk about a whole bunch of herbs. And so I went to the section on the blue lotus flower. It says it's been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years as a natural aphrodisiac, sleep aid, and anxiety reliever.
Oh, I need that. I have major anxiety.
Yeah. It was used in Egypt as a traditional medicine to treat an array of conditions, including anxiety and insomnia.
Yeah.
Consuming the blue lotus flower makes you feel high and can result in a gentle euphoria. It's legal in the United States, according to this article, except for in Louisiana.
Why Louisiana?
I have no idea.
Louisiana's on something else.
I don't know. The Food, Drug, and Administration people label the flower as poisonous.
Oh.
But they don't classify it as a controlled substance. So this means that you can legally purchase it and make blue lotus teas, incense, and oils. It's also legal in most countries except for Poland, Russia, and Latvia.
Interesting.
So you can make tea with it. These are the ways you can consume it. And you can make tea with it, with the blue flower part of it.
Yeah.
You add one pre-made tea bag and 3 to 5 grams of dried flowers to 1 to 2 cups of hot water. You let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you drink it.
So,
you can smoke it. Yes.
Oh, I think that was along my question, is if you can smoke it, but also if it's labeled as poisonous and yet you can ingest it. Is there like a controlled amount, or is there too much that you can have where it would be poisonous?
Very little research done on this, so it's an extremely dangerous thing to play with.
That was my...
And we need to say, for this podcast purposes, we do not condone
no.
going out and trying this stuff.
No.
I'm just giving information about it.
Yeah, this is just information. Because, my main thought is, like, if you eat too many bananas, it can be bad for you.
I mean,
so,
true.
like, if you have too much of anything, it's poisonous.
You want to do moderation in anything anyway.
So, that was just my question, like...
But you can smoke it. You can roll the dried flowers using rolling papers. Keep in mind that this method may cause significant psychoactive effects and should be used with caution.
Okie dokie.
You can vape it. You finely grind the flowers and you can add it to your vaporizer and you can inhale it that way.
Interesting.
You can put it into alcoholic beverages. Some people infuse wine or alcoholic spirits with the flower, but due to the unknown safety of this, it's best to avoid it because they have no idea what the interactions might be.
Yeah.
You can use it as massage oils or essential oils. You can purchase blue lotus flower massage oil, which can enter the body through the skin or nasal passages. Mm-hmm. Many claim that this form is less potent, so it's safer.
Okay.
But again, no research to say what this is all about.
Yes.
So then I was like, okay, this is starting to get pretty interesting. So I went to this website, Jody-Louise.com, and she loves this stuff. She says that, each day the flowers go through a death and rebirth journey because they're water lilies. So they immerse themselves in the water at night and then they rise up in the sun the very next day. So they symbolize sun, rebirth, and creation.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That is really cool.
She says it is a beautiful potion for your body, mind, and soul. It is said to be great for enhancing your mood, improving liver function, preventing fat absorption, calming the nervous system, stimulating dopamine, which I read in more than one place.
Okay.
Boosting the metabolism, invoking deep meditation, lowering cholesterol, reducing stress, clearing mucus.
Wow.
Strengthening the immune system, preventing heavy menstruation, and supporting fertility, increased libido, reducing inflammation, deepening sleep, and reaching a lucid dream state.
Wow. And again, these are all just from a website, and we are just reiterating information that we found. If you are to do anything, we are not doctors. We are not anybody that can tell you what to do. So do your own research, consult a doctor before you do anything.
Correct. She likes to use it. Her favorite thing, I think, is the tea. Mm-hmm. But she says you can smoke it. You can do it as an aromatherapy. You can do it topically or internally, like I said before. Mm-hmm. Her favorite is the tea. She says that once you consume the tea, that the full effects of it are experienced at around 25 minutes after you drink it. She says the effects vary from person to person. Mm-hmm. She said it has a very sweet aroma that warms her heart. It also, she says, works on the pituitary gland, which supports your body to regulate feminine hormones, bringing them back into balance, which might be why it helps you from having heavy periods.
Yeah.
And then there was a testimonial about the stuff that you can buy this stuff online. Mm-hmm. And one of the testimonials said, having experienced most of the indigenous psychotropics, I can say that Blue Lotus is the most unusual of them all. It's not hallucinogenic or an out-of-body experience, but instead a deep meditative trance state which clears the mind. Amazing stuff.
Interesting.
Again, there's been little research done on it, so we don't know. Mm-hmm. So that was what I found on the Blue Lotus. What was your first?
Very interesting. I decided to do lavender.
Okay.
Because I have started the journey of learning how to grow lavender. I have plenty of mint and sage and chamomile and everything that I would want, but I haven't delved into trying to grow lavender.
And it is a pleasing scent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm really struggling with it.
Really?
Yeah, I learned that I've been keeping it in too much heat. It needs a nice, like, not cold, but cooler. And where I am, like, where I live, it's very hot in direct sunlight. So it hasn't been growing, and so I found that after I moved it, it's been doing a lot better. So I wanted to talk about lavender, and I don't have any of those fun stories or anything that you have. Mine is just basically informative information.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of history on lavender. So some common names for lavender, and I cannot pronounce it. Lavandula anguifolia.
Okay.
I know I butchered that. But it includes English lavender, French lavender, and true lavender. Those are also like other names. Some of the earliest record uses of lavender are by Roman soldiers who used the wild-growing plant to perfume their bath water and wash their clothes. Its name is derived from the Latin louvre or louvre, which means to wash in French. And I took French, so I knew that. Thought that was interesting. Still can't pronounce it. Lavender is also associated with like the element of air.
Okay.
So characteristics of lavender are like the evergreen leaves can be a bluish appearance and grow from 1 to 1 3/4 of an inch long. The flowers bloom on from 1.5 inch to 2.5 inch spikes. Lavender requires full sun and excellent soil drainage in order to thrive, but not heat. So sun, but not heat, and that's very hard.
Okay.
Its scent is relaxing and can be uplifting at all the same time. It's a very calming. I don't know. I love lavender. Like the smell of lavender.
See lavender as being something that's associated with bedtime baths and.
Yes, it's a calming. I see a lot of lavender when it's like a stress relief smell, like with like Bath and Body Works. My mother-in-law loves that lavender stress relief smell, so we always get it for her for Mother's Day or something like that.
Okay.
So that's what I associate that smell with, and I do like my candles, obviously. I love my candles, but scented candles are my favorite, and my husband usually goes for the lavender, so we have quite a few lavender.
See, he's a witch too. He just doesn't know it.
He would shake in his boots if you said that to him. It can also be placed in your pillow to help you sleep or mix with essential oils as aromatherapy.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I had heard that.
Yeah. So some of the magical properties. Lavender is wonderful, is wonderful for use in edible and elixirs as well as spells and charms, often called the woman's herb, quote, woman's herb.
I wonder why.
Lavender is associated with spells related to calmness. See, women are just calm.
I don't know. That seems to be saying that women need to be made calm.
I don't know. I feel like it's saying, I don't know what it's saying. Women's herb.
That's written by a woman, so hopefully.
Its purple blossoms resonate with the crown chakra, making this herb auspicious.
Yeah.
Auspicious. It makes this herb auspicious for spiritual attunement.
Oh, nice.
And that's all I have on lavender.
Okay. You want me to go to my next one?
Sure.
I chose mugwort as my second one.
Okay, nice.
It is also lucid dreaming, astral travel, divination, protection against psychic attacks, which I found interesting.
Oh.
And past life regression.
Oh.
Right?
Okay. Now we're talking.
So I went to www.learningreligions.com.
Okay.
And found some basic information about it. It says mugwort is an herb that is found fairly regularly in many modern pagan magical practices.
Okay.
From its use as an incense to smudging or in spell work. Smell work. The smudging might be the smell work. Incense. Mugwort is highly versatile, easy to grow, and so that's good. I wonder, maybe you should try to grow that one.
Maybe. I mean, I'm starting to learn more diverse herbs and stuff, but I sure have killed a lot of plants learning.
I've got lots of yards, so I've got room to grow herbs. I might have to cultivate an herb garden. Mugwort is often associated with the female reproductive system, perhaps because of its associations with the moon.
Okay.
And can be used to bring on delayed menstruation, which is interesting. I wonder if that was something that women used in the past. You know, I'm going to be married. I want to not have my period on my wedding, on my honeymoon. I don't know.
I feel like periods are just a drain and drag altogether. So
well, delaying it's not going to. I mean, to make it go away would be great.
So I mean, maybe oh, I have a vacation to go on, something. Yeah. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I just don't see why.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It was believed to preserve the wayfarer from fatigue, sunstroke, wild beasts, and evil spirits generally. So a crown made from its sprays was worn on St. John's Eve to gain security from evil possession.
Okay.
Mugwort was used in Anglo-Saxon Britain to cure people who had fallen victim to, quote, elf shot.
Elf shot.
Like ELF, elf, shot, S-H-O-T, which appears to have been a catch-all term used to apply to people who had become sick, their illnesses being blamed upon invisible arrows of the fae.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
That's interesting. The first thing that popped up in my head was like those Santa movies, and I with the pointy ear elves holding a gun going pew.
No, we're... No, these are little invisible fae people.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Not the Christmas elves.
More sense, yeah. I was just green and red elves, like.
In some magical traditions, mugwort is associated with divination and dreaming. If someone has overactive dreams, they can be balanced out with a ritual bath made from mugwort and indulged in prior to bedtime.
Okay.
So maybe people who have nightmares might want to take a mugwort bath.
Yeah.
You know, to help you not have those overactive, quote, overactive dreams.
Yeah.
You can start and end your ritual with mugwort. It's in the shamanic practices, it is associated with purification.
Oh.
So you can purify your spell work area or your ritual area to start with, and at the end of it, you want to cleanse the ritual area.
Yeah.
For uses, it says, and I came across several different websites, and they all have different discussions about uses, but this website said you can use mugwort for baths or incense and rituals focusing on treating depression.
Okay.
You can make a set of smudge sticks using dried mugwort to use in ritual settings, bringing about prophecy or divinatory needs. Place mugwort under your pillow to prevent astral attacks or to ward off psychic attacks from those who would do you harm.
Okay.
Plant mugwort in your garden to attract the fae. Burn mugwort as part of an incense blend celebrating Letha, which we talked about, Letha.
We did.
Make a wash by steeping mugwort in hot water and then use it to clean your magical space or your ritual tools, which I thought was neat. Mm-hmm. Make protection oil for your home and property with mugwort. Or you can create a magic broom or besom with mugwort woven into it and use it to sweep negative energies from your home.
And you can also put baby grease on the edge of it so you can fly.
Yeah, and then you could fly.
Oh, man.
The enchantmentcreekherbs.com talked about mugwort and the flavor of it. They said that mugwort is a bitter herb, but it's not just a bitter herb. She is a dream weaver.
Oh.
The energies of the crone, the wise woman, and the mother. She is a story keeper and purifier, which seems to be what everybody agrees on, that mugwort purifies.
Yeah.
Mugwort has long been a long time smoke medicine herb, purifying space and energies. Bodies, it purifying your body and your physical and spiritual body, offering clarity through dreams, meditations, and divine wisdom. And then otherworldlyoracle.com says that it is a flowering perennial herb with a long history in medicine and magical realms. In Europe, mugwort is used to flavor the Christmas goose.
Oh, Oh.
Because that bitter taste.
I feel like it would have an earthy taste.
I don't know.
I feel like it's an earthy
tried
taste.
it, but it balances that goose. That bitter taste balances that goose flesh and the goose meat to make it a wonderful accent. And then in Japan and Korea, they flavor soups, stews, and traditional desserts with mugwort.
Okay.
The most popular magical property of mugwort is the dream work. Mm-hmm. You drink a mugwort tea before bed and you'll receive some vivid and sometimes prophetic dreams. In addition to mugwort being a dreaming herb, it is also effective for the following: opening the third eye, opening psychic abilities, attracting and ridding ghosts, divination, protection, and cleansing. Mm-hmm. Drink mugwort tea before bed and you'll receive those vivid dreams. Let's see, more uses. Yeah. You can burn magic mugwort for spirit work. You can drink the tea for dreaming. You can use it in spell bags or the sachets I was talking about. This, you can use it as protection because it's protective qualities. Yeah. You can use it as a hand wash. You can make it into a spray to cleanse your area, your home and whatnot. Yeah. And you can make it a dream pillow to have close by for when you sleep.
Interesting.
So that's what I've got on mugwort.
I like that. I feel like with it being like vivid dream wise, I wouldn't want it because I already have vivid dreams alone.
Me too.
But that's very like nice. Like I didn't know any of that
there was
about
no
mugwort.
Talk about it being poisonous
or anything.
The blue lotus.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But again, even for mugwort, you do your research before you.
Yes.
We're not condoning anything.
Yes, for sure.
What's your second herb?
So my second one is very common. It's sage.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about some sage, and I think this will be the last herb I talk about.
Okay.
And we will definitely do another episode on herbs.
Definitely.
For sure. Mm-hmm. But yes, so I only have like the history, magical properties, and etc. on sage. Okay. So the sage's history. Sage's history. Sounds like I'm talking like a person, about a person. Sage is...
I like the name Sage.
I do too. Like maybe for a dog.
I would like it for a kid.
I know.
I don't think my husband would like it.
Yeah. I don't think my husband would either. We're getting a dog towards the end of the year, and we're fighting about the name of the dog, so I don't think a kid will be that easy. So sage is native to the Mediterranean region, and its use has been documented by Dioscorides. You can take a gander and...
Okay. What you said sounds good.
Okay. Dioscorides as a tropical as well as medicinal tea.
Okay. Oh.
Tea.
Interesting. Because to me, sage is most commonly used
for like
as a
smudge sticks and stuff like that.
I have sage smudge sticks down in my altar room, I guess you call it.
Yeah, I started growing sage, and so it's interesting to see what we can do with the sage. And sage sticks were the first thing that I thought of, but there's so much more that you can do. Mm-hmm. It was first used by ancient Romans as a digestive aid and as a fertility aid by the Egyptians. Ariel, sweetie. In classical Greek society, sage was used as a preservative and a memory enhancement.
Oh, I need that.
I actually read somewhere that if you are forgetful and like leave things and forgetful and everything, means that you're actually like smarter than normal people because you have so much going on in your mind, back and forth, jumbled.
I agree with that. I've got like a million people in my head.
Yeah.
But you know what I heard about when you know how you walk into a room and you forget why you walk in there? Yeah. Have I told you this story?
I feel like we've talked about it before.
We might have even talked about it on the podcast, but you walk into a room and you forget why you're in there, it's because you've walked through a spirit who has eaten your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, I remember saying that. But when I think of, like, going into a room that I've forgotten something, I feel like I'm, like, a sim. Because I used to play Sims a lot when I was younger. Yeah, like,
I don't know if we did it on the podcast
I'm not
or just
sure.
in
I can't remember. But
y'all, we have conversations like this all the time.
Yeah, all the time. I feel like I'm a sim, and they're like, no, she doesn't want to get water anymore. And so I go into the kitchen, I'm like, what am I in here for? I just turn around, don't know what I'm in the kitchen for.
Yeah.
From the first millennium, sage has been cultivated with intention. Its name means salvation.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oop, trying to change too much. So characteristics of sage. Sage is well known and is a beloved garden plant. A member of the mint family. Sage.
Mint? Really?
Mm-hmm. Sage is characterized by its fuzzy leaves and flowers that range from blue to white and more frequently purplish pink.
Interesting.
It has been used extensively as a remedy and is cultivated in the temperate zones of North America and Europe.
Okay.
A perennial evergreen shrub, sage is used as healing herb, a culinary herb, and a magical herb. So the magical properties of sage is used for cleaning your tools and spaces like smudge sticks. You cleanse your space.
That's what I use it for.
It is useful for invoking spiritual purity and for grounding and centering before any magical endeavor.
Yeah, you know how mugwort supposedly is to be used to do that too, which I've never heard that. I always use sage.
Yeah. I've never used sage before. I just
I'll
haven't
have
had
to make
the time.
You some smudge sticks because I make those. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Or we should make some together.
Oh,
That would be fun.
Yes, that would be fun. It would be also a learning experience. So if I ever needed to do that.
You'll have to come over again and make me dinner and then we can make smudge sticks.
Yes. Varieties of sage have been dried and combined with other herbs such as cedar and sweetgrass and used by indigenous Americans in sacred smudging ceremony for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. This practice has been widely adopted by many neo-pagan practicing practitioners and witches. Mm-hmm. Sage is also used by modern witches in fertility magic and for invoking luck and prosperity.
Nice.
So that's all that I have on my herbs, but that definitely... Those 4 herbs are not all the herbs in the world.
Oh, definitely not.
I have a book full that I wish that we could just talk about in one sit-in, but that would be like a 24-hour episode.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm excited to get to more herbs and stuff later on in this podcast. And
me too.
And
I mean, we don't want to overwhelm you with just herbs for those of you who aren't totally into the herb. I mean, I think it's interesting no matter what, witches I think need to know the different herbs. But we're going to scatter it out throughout, although next week we might do more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really feeling like next week I want to talk about how you prep your herbs. So if you do grow your herbs, how you can prep them and use them in your magic.
And Anju Kiernan, in her book, she talks about the whole process from growing it all the way to making it into tinctures and potions and ointments and stuff.
Yeah.
So we could talk about that next week.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good topic. Or anything else if y'all recommend anything. Yeah. You guys can recommend
Let us know.
anything on any of our social media platforms. On any of our social media platforms, we will reply, we will respond like we get excited when people comment and tell us what they want.
One comment that we did a episode on from Instagram, but y'all can email us.
Mm-hmm. Email us, tweet us.
We both poll the emails. Yeah, I've been working on our Twitter.
And if you're lucky, River and I don't communicate, so you might get an email or a message back from both of us at the same time.
We did that to one poor person that
on
commented on Instagram, and there was 4 different comments from each of us.
Because
poor person.
We both are logged in on our devices, and I didn't know that River was going to comment back, so I was like, oh, I'll just do it. And then I went back and checked maybe 20 minutes later, there were 5 comments, and I was like, oh, did you? And she was like, yep, I did. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that poor guy. He was like, okay, these girls are really into this stuff.
He seemed excited, so I hope you're still listening if you are.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's all that I have.
Me too.
Okay, well, you guys know where to find us on all of our social media at C3 Witchy Podcast. You can also check out our website, c3witchypodcast.com. That is where you will find all the links to our social medias as well as our link to our Patreon.
Oh, and we have merch up for sale now.
Oh, yes, our Ariel, sweetie.
We just got merch put up today.
Mm-hmm.
We partnered with Dragoncraft Creations.
Yes.
And if you go to our website, you can either go to their store at dragoncraftcreations.etsy.com and find it there, or you can go to our website at C3 Witchy Podcast, and there's a link to the merch there. So far, we've got tank tops, both racerback and regular.
Yes.
And we are working on other designs as well. So anything that you all want, let us know.
Yes.
And we will work on getting it to you.
Yes, we are working like double time trying to get fun designs and everything out. We're going to come out with more colors. We're collaborating with Dragoncraft Creations. So thank you so much, Dragoncraft Creations, for doing this with us. We are both excited because it's merch. Like, who doesn't want to wear your own stuff?
I know.
Talk about like being self-centered. My podcast is the best, But it's true. Like, we love this stuff, and if you want to see anything on a shirt, just let us know.
Yeah, I'm sure that Dragoncraft Creations can do it. They're pretty cool. You should go check out their stuff.
So thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.